Hi, hello everybody. Is my microphone muted? No, it's not muted. Hi, hello. Thank you everyone for the follows as well. Thank you, uh, Lana. I know like there's a lot of people who are very picky about how that name is said. So Lana, thank you for the follow, and Vision also thank you for the follow. Hello and welcome everyone to the sixth episode of VTubing with Hime. Sorry, I'm looking at chat. I told myself I wasn't gonna get distracted by chat. For anyone that doesn't know, VTubing with Hime is an educational podcast catered towards VTubers of the like, hoping to learn from not only my experience as a VTuber, but also from my guests as well. On today's episode, I am joined by PaintedLive, who I think it's okay if I call him Paint, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
you can go ahead and call me Penny if you want.
okay, and also Paint is a bottom.
Bruh, we didn't even this didn't even come up like before the interview. This just happened now. Like I was unsolicited.
I've been seeing that a lot on Twitter lately.
True, true. Yeah.
Sorry, like I said, today my guest is Paint, and today we are going to be discussing the topic how to VTuber debut, which is something I've actually never done as a VTuber myself. So I will, like everybody else here, will be learning something new. For those who have not watched the show, how the show works is the show roughly is going to be a 1 hour broadcast. And for the first 30 to 40 minutes of the podcast, I will be discussing the main topic at hand with Paint. And then the last 10 to 15 minutes of the show, we will be open for chat questions. So please be sure to have your questions ready for either myself or Paint. It doesn't even have to be about the topic at hand. It could be about streaming, VTubing, or life in general. But let's try to keep it PG-13, guys, because I've gotten some weird questions in these past podcasts. So I will be watching you guys very carefully.
Nothing like my podcast. I'm not gonna say what you're talking about because we're PG-13 here, but we were some weirdos.
For sure. Before we start the podcast here, another reminder for you guys. I've said this in the last podcast I had. We are now on Spotify. So we are going to try our best, or myself, I'm going to try my best as the host to be a little bit more descriptive for audio only listeners. So I'm going to be very descriptive when it comes to chat and what's happening. So if it sounds a little bit too ebookish, please don't mind me because we also have listeners on Spotify and we have hit actually the 200 listener mark on Spotify. So that is huge, especially for a
Shit.
podcast. Yeah, for a podcast that is a pretty niche in itself. So thank you guys that listen on Spotify. I also see where you guys are around the world in Spotify and who's listening. And whoever is that one listener in Singapore who has listened to this podcast multiple times, thank you, random stranger in Singapore. And also another reminder, I know I'm taking up so much of Paint's time here, but I swear I'm almost done.
Fine.
Season one of the podcast is going to be coming to a close. I am going to be having one more guest, and then season one is going to wrap up, and we will be back in the middle of January 2022 with new guests. And I actually have a special guest coming on the first episode of season two who you guys might know. I'm not going to drop any names yet, but they are pretty substantial on YouTube, I'd like to say. So stay tuned for that. I'm also going to be opening auditions as well. So we are just gonna get right into it because my intro was about like 20 minutes long. So, like I said, today we are talking about how to VTuber debut. And me as a VTuber, I've never done the whole debut thing. I don't even know what goes behind it. I just hit live and there I was. I was like, hey guys, I'm a VTuber now. So this is gonna be a really nice experience, especially for those who are planning their debut or in the middle of their debut. I hope you guys can get something new out of this. So I'm gonna pass it over to Paint and just tell everyone who you are for those who don't know.
Well, if anyone here does not know who I am Painted Live. I am a VTuber. I am a street racing VTuber, mainly shit posting meme kind of VTuber more than anything. I myself do a lot of Twitter stuff. I do a lot of Twitch streams. As of late, I've been doing a lot of horror streams, mainly just for the fun of it. I've kind of just been trying to get into the Five Nights at Freddy crap, and that has been horrible for me because of how terrifying those games are. Apparently, like I thought it would be going in like easy, just for a little bit of challenge, but yeah, they'd be kind of rough. And yeah,
You
that's
are
pretty much who I
brave.
am.
Yeah, let's talk about more of the Five Nights at Freddy's thing because I actually want to fix you up here. I'm looking at my stream and I'm like, paint looks a little off here, so I'm gonna fix you up here while you
Oh
do
no.
that. Let's talk about Five Nights at Freddy's because as a horror streamer, I do not have the balls to play that. How has that been going for you so far?
Well, those games are they're troublesome at first. Like it's kind of like, oh, it's kind of easy, and then after that, it's like, man, this is awful.
Um,
While you're playing them, you're just kind of thinking, man, if only I just didn't add sound alerts, that would make things like a lot easier in my life. But I did it, and it's been helpful, but also very, very awful at the same time.
oh my gosh, have your viewers been killing you with the sound alerts? You mad lad, as if Five Nights at Freddy's
Yeah.
wasn't already rough enough. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Like one person obviously who's already here, by the name of Lana has been just an evil person. But I welcome their person and anyone else who decides to come in. And I also recently got the uh technically this is still kind of PG because it's just an abbreviation, but it's called TITS, the TITS program, where you throw stuff at VTubers. That's also
Mm-hmm.
been added to my stream as well, and they abused the hell out of that.
Oh my God. You are brave. Those kind of like Five Nights at Freddy games, I could never do them. They are just it's the feeling of dread that gets me, you know. I can't take it.
Yeah, like the first one, it's pretty bad. The second one is just terrible. The third one I kind of skipped because I thought, man, that game kind of looks a little too bland for my streams. I like a little more color. It was just really, really green and black. So I
Green.
skipped the four, and four has just been like the worst mistake of my life because of how awful it is to play that game.
Oh my
That game is just a
gosh.
nightmare fuel.
Damn, that is Jesus. I tuned in for a little bit and you know what? Even I couldn't last. As a viewer, I couldn't last. Like it's too much for me. Anyways, we are going on a bit of a tangent here. I'm going to ask you your next question. So, why did you choose VTubing over IRL streaming?
Well, the decision between VTubing and IRL streaming for me it wasn't really much of a choice because I didn't even think about IRL streaming, whether or not to do it or not, over VTubing because of the whole reason why I started VTubing. The whole reason why I started VTubing was because I when I started VTubing, I didn't know anything about VTubing. The only VTuber I knew of was this person named Gura, and I still kind of don't know anything about them other than the meme about that just the letter A. And then when I started VTubing, I was like, man, okay, so I got to get a model. What am I going to do with that? And my friend by the name of Black and White, who runs a VR chat street racing drift server, because on VR chat, there's maps on that game where there's just a bunch of just street racing stuff. And once you start doing it and you get into it, it just slowly created a cult following of just street racing people. And I decided, you know what? Based on this model that my friend Black and White made for me, I'm gonna create Paint, the the street racing VTuber. And that was pretty much the whole reason why I chose that instead of IRL streaming.
Let's touch a little bit more on you as a VTuber. I know this is not part of the questions, but I had to know
Mhm.
why the street racing persona and what made you choose going 2D over 3D?
Well, the reason why I chose 2D over 3D is because simply enough, I just didn't know really there was a lot of 3D VTubers. I didn't. I didn't really research a lot into the Vroid stuff or anything like that. I didn't even know Vroid was the stuff people use for 3D models until like after I already got my 2D model. So that was the whole reason why I chose 2D over 3D.
I gotta
And
I gotta know.
yeah.
And honestly, if you don't want to answer, that is totally okay. How much did you pay for
Mhm.
your model?
Oh God. Yeah, I paid a couple fat stacks for this model. I'm not
Oh
gonna
my
lie.
gosh.
Yeah, the person who created it was a person on Fiverr, and I did a lot of research on who I wanted to make my model first because I always make a lot of research on what my purchases will be.
Hmm.
And this person just seemed like, yeah, they're a lot of money, but they also create the quality that I'm looking for, so, and they worked out, definitely.
Yeah, no, it looks great. And why this street racing thing? It's just you just got really deep into the whole VR chat, like you mentioned.
Yeah, I did the whole VRChat street racing. I was in the scene for like a good year and a half or so, under the server Midnight Sliders, or at first it was Lonely Sliders. Now it's the new server in the Midnight Sliders. I'm a moderator on there. And the whole reason why I did that is just simply because I enjoy the street racing on there. And I also decided I like the kind of story I can relate with the character I originally made. I don't have an official backstory anymore, but back when I was starting the VTube, I did have an official backstory, and it was heavily based on the Street Racer-esque.
It's good to know. I actually didn't know that the whole street racing thing, which I think we had a huge talk about Initial D because I never met anyone who was a big fan of Initial D, and I was like, no way, did we just become best friends?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of it initially. I've been a fan of it for a good like, God, I think it's been since high school, and I started enjoying it, and that was about like 4 or 5 years ago, I think. I think five, six. I don't know. It's been a long time. But yeah, it's definitely a show that has kind of inspired my character too, but mainly the kind of ride he uses, which is the 1995 blue Subaru Impreza WRX.
Bunta, what up?
Yep, Boonta, the father of Takumi in that show.
Yes. Okay. We could. I honestly, if we start talking about Initial D, it's gonna take up the whole podcast. So, I know I'm not asking Paint a lot of kind of questions about himself like I usually do with other guests, but I actually have a lot of questions here about debuting. So
Mhm.
we are just gonna jump right into it. So you, out of I said this before we went live. Out of every VTuber I have encountered on Twitter, I know a lot of VTubers work really hard on their debuts. Like you should, you should get that hype up. But when I was watching you from the start, well, not from the start. I think I met you when you were like in the middle of your debut, and you really accomplished like really good numbers on Twitter and just like your debut was went well. Also, before we get into the questions, actually, or unless I do ask that question here, I'm just gonna skip it if I do. How did your debut go?
Well, I'd say my debut was my first live stream. It was my main debut was just simply my first Twitch live stream, and that was when I got my model. My first debut, the first thing I wanted to do, and I made it very clear, I said I was going to make a tier list on my first debut, and that tier list was specifically to have a boxing match with as many VTubers as I possibly can, just to say who can I beat the crap out of and who can I get my ass beat by. I
Oh my god, that was the
was
focus
like,
of
I'm
your
making it
debut.
clear. Yeah, that was the main focus of my debut. After that, we played like some Forza Horizon 5 because I had just gotten my Blue Super Impreza. I was like, I got to do something in regards to street racing, so I did that.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
I like for your debut, it wasn't even about yourself. You actually incorporated other VTubers as well with the tier list.
Yeah, at first it was just chatting for like a good like I'd say quarter of the stream, and then like another 2/4 of it was the whole boxing match, and then after that we just memed around on Forza for a good like 30 to 40 minutes.
Great, I love it. For those who are, like I said, who are new to debuting, or even those who are currently in debuting, I hope you got a pen and paper because I want to kind of pick your brain here. And could you walk us through your planning process or like a checklist you had while preparing for debuting?
Well, I didn't have a huge checklist, but I did have an effective one. So my personal checklist that I had was first get a character sheet because if you're gonna have a debut, you need to have your character displayed out. And my character sheet was more for commissioning rather than display. So after I got that, I just got a very detailed one of my character with and without the blindfold. I got a lot of detailed work on the character itself, and then after that, I started getting some art done of my character to display. Oh, this is the character that's going to be shown, and a lot of the art I showed was very nice. I liked the art that I had displayed beforehand. So I'd say one huge thing, uh, if you're gonna throw on your checklist, people, for debuting, get some art done of your character and get it displayed. It's gonna definitely catch some eyes, and people are gonna be like, "Whoa, it's that character," and that kind of stuff. So I definitely recommend that. And I'd say after getting the art done and all that stuff, next you start making connections. So you start like, introducing yourself to people, interacting. Hopefully you'll catch people's eyes as well. And if you're lucky enough, you'll catch big people's eyes. I myself, I don't think I caught any like huge eyes, anything like that, but I definitely caught the eyes of people who I cared about, and it was people who I was personally interested in, and now they're good friends to me to this day. So yeah, get art, get connections, make sure to don't slow down. If you're gonna start doing your debut, you need to keep that pace up and continue keeping yourself being shown on like the Twitter timeline. And having a Twitter is probably the biggest part you're gonna need because where else are you going to advertise?
So that's a very good point. And social media, what I call debuting really, is networking on steroids. And for those of
Yeah.
you who were here in the last podcast, we actually covered the topic of networking and how lazy I am at networking. So it's great that we have this last podcast and now we got this podcast that is also going to cover a little bit of networking and the importance of social media, like we've spoken about. And I want to get your take on social media as well, and specifically, which social medias have you used to prepare for your debut? And personally, what social media platforms are the best to showcase a debut?
Well, I would say the best social media place is easily Twitter. And I'd say the second best would be, if you would even count this as social media. I don't think you would, but I'd say Discord as well. Share it around with as many people as you can. And the weird thing, I guess I would have to make a big point here just for people who are nervous about sharing it on Discord. If you're nervous about your like people who know you seeing your stuff on stream, then I recommend you don't do it on Discord, but I would say just do it anyway. Uh, that's probably the best thing you can do because you'll keep that confidence up of, yes, this is me now. This is what I'm doing. I want you all to see everywhere. And yeah, Twitter is definitely your main showcase area of what you're doing. And then obviously Twitch. You don't want to advertise on Twitch. You just want to keep your Twitch there. If you're advertising your Twitch on other people's streams and stuff like that, it's kind of a dick move. Uh, so yeah, don't do that.
I agree. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy that just drops into a random stream and just, hey guys, I know you're watching this streamer, but watch me instead. Like, don't be that guy.
Yeah,
That's,
don't be that guy.
that is a big tip. You said, and actually the previous question, how you pretty much said don't let the hype down. And I feel like, I don't know, how long have you been on Twitter and just kind of, or social media in general, actually, and doing, like, preparing for your debut?
Well, since September, that's pretty much when I started. And honestly, I didn't really start doing a lot until November. So technically, November was the time when I started really showing myself. Because I didn't have a lot to show by September. I needed to get a lot of work done before I could even, catch people's eyes. But by that time, I was still new. I was inexperienced and still kind of inexperienced, but I'm still working hard and at what I do. And once you start getting into that point of, okay, this is when I need to start pushing myself to be shown, you just need to keep going after that. If you stop yourself or slow down too much, you're gonna be realizing, wait, why are people not keeping their eyes on me, or why are people not paying attention to me? Oh, it's because I slowed down for these last couple days because I wanted to take a break. I know it's hard to, I know it's rough to say don't to push yourself, but by the point you hit your debut, you can slow down after that and just keep your moderate pace and maybe even take a break after that because your main debut you're going to be just kind of chilling because your main debut is going to be your showcase.
For sure. Getting that promotion up and just kind of marketing yourself and just putting your name out there. And especially if you do slow down, I feel like people are going to kind of forget who you are. And my Twitter, every time I log in into Twitter, even I remember you pre debut, my Twitter was filled with nothing but paint on my Twitter. So
Yeah.
you worked really, really hard. And honestly, like I said, the hard work has really paid off. But when you're really in those kind of like final moments of about to debut, what kept you motivated? Did you ever feel burned out in any way?
In those final moments, like right before you debut, you may feel like a bit tired, like maybe you're like, and I don't know what to do. I didn't stream before I debuted though. I my first stream was my debut, so it's a lot easier for me to say I was less exhausted than other people would be if they started streaming and trying to showcase themselves on Twitch like that. So for people who are starting to stream first and then after a couple streams then debuting, you guys may like want to take like I don't know. I wouldn't say like much of a break, but more just like slow down a little bit and then hit that debut point so that you don't burn yourself out completely. To the point where like you're on your debut and you just can't do it. And for people who make their first stream their debut, just keep going, and then once you finish your debut, then just you can rest by that time. I know burnout is a big pain, but it's a rewarding one.
That's very true. I can't even imagine not stream because usually before people debut, especially VTubers, they stream beforehand. So making your debut your first stream, that's really bold, and that must have been so nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I was very nervous because I wasn't as nervous as I'm really saying. I had a lot prepared. I'm a very prepared person. And so what I put on stream is what I have prepared. And once you're ready, you realize, okay, I have the confidence to actually make this happen. You should be good. If you are not confident in what you're displaying, maybe delay your debut by maybe like another day or two. Basically, in the end, prepare yourself and you should feel a lot more confident in your first stream being your debut stream. I know not a lot of people do it, but I decided to do it because why not?
Crazy. But you know what? It all paid off, man. So, touching back on the point of social media, and I think you said Twitter was kind of the big social media that you used. Um, would you have done it differently in terms of like social media? I mean, there have been people, I've seen Facebook groups, TikTok, and even have you used YouTube to kind of promote your debut actually?
No, not YouTube. On YouTube, I did do a couple of streams on YouTube with like a PNG, but just doing like small Minecraft stuff, kind of just testing out OBS and stuff like that. Kind of seeing like setup or all that even watchable for people. Like on YouTube, I kind of treated it as like a testing ground. And then after that, it became like that also helped in making my Twitch streams or first Twitch stream a lot better because I had a testing ground for my YouTube.
That's true. And honestly, for anyone new to debuting or who's about to do the same thing that Painted and do their first stream on Twitch, make a throwaway account. That's a really good tip. Just kind of figure out your settings, what your computer can handle, and all of that, and just test your limitations because your debut, especially all the hype and marketing that you put before it, you want it to be kind of a perfect debut, as perfect as you can make it. So yeah, doing a little test account is good. I think every streamer honestly has a different account to test stuff. I know I do. I go on there, if you guys remember, in like my second month of streaming, and my I found out that my internet was just really bad and my modem actually ended up melting. If any of my regulars remember that, it actually caught fire. So yeah, testing it was good on another account. So yes, it is very smart to make another account and do those testings. So, social media, obviously, the lifeline of not only VTubers but streamers of the likes. If you could explain to everybody why social media is so important for debuting.
Well, social media is pretty much your display case. It's sure social media, it's something where you make connections, but it's also a thing where while you're making connections, you show yourself. And while you're doing everything you can to advertise your channel or your YouTube channel or whatever, you're also advertising your quote unquote, I wouldn't call myself this, but a brand, like your brand, quote unquote, or just whatever you're really trying to display about yourself to show, hey, this is who I am, this is what I want to do, this is what I'm gonna do. I hope you're interested. And that's probably like the biggest thing about social media now for new VTubers. Yes, it is used to make connections. You do make friends. You do make a lot of colleagues, but the main thing when you're starting out is you're showing yourself. You're trying to show your true self, and that's probably the best thing you can do if what your main goal is trying to grow. If your main goal isn't to try and grow, then I don't know what you're trying to debut for. But yeah, if you're debuting, then that's what you want to do.
For sure. And I've spoken about this before, mainly with YouTube, but social media does pretty much the same thing that YouTube does. And I always try to tell people if you're a streamer, you can't just grow on just Twitch itself because people would have to tune in on certain times to come watch you. So stuff like social media, especially YouTube, is really good for what I call offline growth. And that's pretty much where people can catch you when you're not live. I mean, yeah, you got VODs on Twitch as well, but your VODs only last, I think it's like 30 days or something like that, or might be
No, it's
less.
like 14 now.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember because my debut stream wasn't saved, weirdly enough. I
Oh
yeah, when I streamed my debut stream, I looked back, I was like, where's the VOD? And I looked into my settings and I was like, so you have to toggle it to save your VODs? That's
no.
awful.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
And after that, this huge part, make a YouTube channel and you can export your stuff straight from Twitch to your YouTube channel if you want to
mhm.
save VODs.
Yeah, that's very smart to do. And yeah, like YouTube does the same thing like social media, and like if people wanted to get to know you off stream, social media is just it's really that lifeline of getting to know you as a streamer and as a person on stuff like Twitter and anything else. So yeah, social media is super important. Even if you're not debuting, just as a streamer in general, it's very important. So you were talking previously about a lot of art. So I guess you commissioned a lot of artists to kind of get yourself out there and get kind of hammer in that image of who you are and your YouTuber, not YouTuber, VTuber avatar out there on Twitter. And so, what are some things that you did to hype up your debut?
Well, the main things I did to hype up my debut was just simply talk about it. You just kind of just got to really put yourself out there, even if you feel like you're spamming people's timeline. Uh, just continue to just throw yourself out there. Because if people don't want to see you on their timeline, they probably ain't gonna go and watch you themselves. But if you don't like put like one post every couple minutes, like you put one maybe like a couple every couple hours or an hour or so, and you should be fine. And yeah, just advertise where you can, how you can. Make don't use like people like meeting people as like, oh, I'm going to use this as a way to grow my channel. No, for those people, you want to pretty much just make friends. Like you want to be real with them and real with yourself and all that. You're not using them for views. You're using them to make connections and, maybe just new friends. That's the one huge positive about being a VTuber is that there's so many cool people in the community. And once you meet them, you're just like, whoa, this is awesome. Like, not only am I showing myself to people, but I'm also making friends and learning about them as well. So, like, everyone's growing together and not just on their own.
I love that. We need to print that out, put that on a neon sign. You grow together, not alone. I love that. That's very true. And that's why, like I said, debuting is like networking on steroids. And like networking is just so important. I'm not one to talk. I don't network. I mean, my podcast is a way of networking, I guess. But it's very true. I don't exactly do as I say, not as I do. It's one of those situations.
Right.
So let's take a spin on the question a little bit here about how to hype up your debut. Let's say, someone's new to the scene and maybe they're a little bit strapped for cash. They don't exactly have the money for commissions or I don't know. What else do you do? Emotes, anything that involves real life money. What are some other ways? Like, what are some example tweets that don't involve, well, I mean, pictures. Okay. What are some example tweets that it doesn't, that would hype up a debut?
Well, I'd say the best way to really hype up yourself for your debut, and for people without any sort of like special features like art, or let's say you having your live 2D model or 3D model, something like that created yet, is probably just to try and talk with people in general, just like go in their post and just hang out with them or something like that, or just like just talk to people as much as you possibly can. Uh, Bring up your post like, I'm a new VTuber. I'm asking for advice, and I want to know if you guys have anything I can do. Just like again, just try and make connections with people. That's a huge plus to the lack of funds that you may not have in regards to trying to grow yourself. And I'd say for like a sort of example post would be again like, I'm a new VTuber. This is what I want to do, and this is like the kind of idea I have. I hope you're all interested. Maybe kind of like make like a silhouette of like what you want to do, or like a lot of people do those. I have my model retweet this for like 25, retweet this 25 times or something like that, or give me like this many followers or something like that. Those will definitely help, but those are mainly just trying to hype you up. And maybe some people will see them, and I'll definitely see them and uh, be like, "That's cool as heck," and I'll go and check them out myself, and I'll follow them. But it definitely works. It does the job.
For sure. I like how you said just kind of like putting yourself out there and just talking to people, which is true. You don't even need a actual VTuber model yet to go out there and kind of network with other people. Even like you said, replying to threads. There is so many of those. Hey, I'm looking for a VTuber friend threads, and I swear I see them like 5 times on the daily on Twitter when it comes to VTubers. So honestly, just throw yourself out there. Even as simple as liking someone's VTuber posts. Some people look at the people who like other people's posts. if you're one of those people, like just like Paint said, I'm just repeating myself here. Just really put yourself out there, and Twitter is free. It's free to retweet. It's free to like. It's
Yep.
free to do all of that. You don't need big bucks to hype yourself up on your stream. As long as you're genuine about it and not being shady, people will not. It's all about first impressions. So you don't want to be that kind of like that shady person, because if you're in it for yourself, people are going to pick up on that. So be careful with that, and don't make it seem like it's just specifically for you, because if you do give something back, don't expect anything back in return. So don't be selfish is my
Yeah.
lesson of the day. So obviously, you said you're new to streaming, you're new to VTubing, and I think you said you only knew like one other VTuber on your
Yeah.
journey to this. So this
Yeah.
question might be a little bit tricky, but have you taken any inspirations or looked up to any role models in terms of debuting as a VTuber?
Well, I would say at first I didn't. I kind of just had my own confidence and drive to push myself in becoming a VTuber. But after like making put yourself out there, meeting new people, you see a lot of people, and you're like, man, they are all just they're just there's just a lot of examples you could really have out there to really show that's what I want to be or something like that. Um, I guess like to me, my drive for being a VTuber isn't from other VTubers or anything like that. It's more along just lines of I have this image that I want out there for people to see, and that's what I want. So I guess just if you have an example that you are or someone you're looking up to and you want to be like them, that's fine. But if you have another thing where you're just like I want to be like my own image and you want to throw it out there, that's also good. Everyone has a lot of different ambitions and different drives than others.
For sure. And this kind of touches on the topic a little bit, but especially when you're new to VTubing and you're kind of building that lore and that persona for yourself, be sure that you keep it original. And it's okay to take inspirations and ideas from other VTubers, especially those that were successful for other VTubers. But you got to keep in mind that if it was successful for them, it might not be successful for you. So be careful with that. And you can take something and take someone's idea, but put a spin on it, really. And because people are going to remember you for your originality. You know what I remember the most about Paint? It's his eyes. When I think Paint, I think about his eyes because they're very unusual. So,
Well, my eyes were completely unintentional, weirdly
were
enough.
they?
Yeah. So my VRChat model that I had, it was created by my friend, and the eyes were just a graphic defect on the model.
Oh my
And I was
gosh.
like, that looks cool, so I'll take it. And I created it and was like to my artist, hey, I want it to be like this instead. And they're like, that actually looks pretty cool. Okay, let's do it. And now I have these very weird eyes that are kind of just like reversed in the sort of color they're supposed to be.
Exactly. And that is such a good example when it comes to originality, because it's kind of like having, I know you didn't want it to be labeled like this, but it's kind of like your brand, because I think of those eyes, I think of paint. So being original in your own way for sure is going to make you stand out. So remember that when you guys are preparing your VTubing debuts. So you've done your debut back in November. So this is going to be kind of a reflection on how it all went. What are your do's and don'ts for debuting?
Well, I guess the first don'ts I would like to point out because I like to put the don'ts first. So people just really nails it in their head. First don't is make sure you don't spend too much money to the point where you're gonna be financially crippled. I see so many problems with VTubers in the community who like are questioning whether or not they should pay rent this month or use all their money on this thing.
Oh
And
my god.
uh Yeah, I don't know if you've seen, they're kind of just mainly memes, but I know like those are just exaggerated, but still it's a lot of money that can get involved in this. So be smart on where you're buying from or who you're buying from, because I can definitely say I've made my mistakes before debuting. I've got like unused overlays and stuff like that that I'm not really interested in using anymore.
Hmm.
That I paid decent money for, not a lot, but decent money for, that I definitely could have used towards better things when thinking about it because of my lack of knowledge in streaming and VTubing. So yeah, definitely put your money where your mouth is and be smart about what you're actually going to do with all that because when you if you don't have money to begin with, then it's a little easier not to spend your money. But if you do have money, make sure you have a lot of room and you don't destroy yourself in the process. So yeah, don't overspend. Be smart
Keep
on where you're
yourself
buying
fed.
from.
Hmm.
Yeah, keep yourself under a roof. And yeah, I'd say another don't is don't try doing like this is a more like opinionated thing, I guess, is one someone would say. But I would definitely have to say don't throw hot takes everywhere, especially controversial ones. That's just my personal opinion on what I wouldn't do and I didn't do purposely, because I was small. I didn't have a lot of knowledge about the community yet. I didn't know if like maybe one opinion I had would be different than what the majority did. So like be smart before you open your mouth is basically what I'm saying. Do your research, know more about the community you're putting yourself into, and just be open-minded for sure. And a do, I would say, as we're now moving on to the do's checklist, uh, I would say a do you would want to do is you want to be yourself. You don't want to like, unless you're like, playing a character, obviously, then you want to play that character as much as you can. But if you're kind of just you want to be you as a person and don't be fake. So I guess it's kind of a mix of the do's and don'ts, but yeah, don't be fake and do be a decent person and just be yourself because eventually, as long as you're that person or that sort of fake person that you're trying to act to get big, you're gonna start people are gonna start seeing as you're getting more comfortable and acting more like yourself instead of the person you're not. Wait a minute, they're a little different now. Oh, they're a little that's yeah, I don't know if how I feel about following this person anymore.
It's so true. So true. Yeah.
And I guess one last do I would have to say is do be a just do support others. Like you may be small, and I know some people have the mindset of, but if I support them, then how is it that may like cover some people's eyes from my direction and just go on to them. No, just support other people. Karma is a real thing. I know some people don't believe it, but I personally believe karma is a real thing. And as long as you're kind to other people, you support the people who you care about and the people who care about you, you guys are all just doing this whole like simp circle of, of love with each other. And yeah, everyone grows together, like I said earlier.
I want
I
all of
want
my
all my
homies to
homies to
succeed.
succeed. Yeah, that's
So,
exactly that.
so Lana said that in chat for those who are just listening. Yes, it is very true. I want all my homies to succeed. Talking on the money topic, that is, I think that's one of probably the most common things I see in the VTuber community because I don't, I'm trying to think of like the average streamer versus a
Mhm.
VTuber because especially if you go 2D or even 3D, if you don't want to end up making your own model on 3D, besides a computer and all of the other stuff to get your stream running, there is money that does go into your avatar and especially commission art because I mean, IRL streamers, they're not going to get all, they're not getting commissions on themselves is not a huge priority. So I think VTubers actually could and probably do spend a lot more money than the average IRL streamer. So the money thing for sure, like we're saying, keep yourself fed and make sure you have a roof over your head. That's very important. But there are a lot of free options when it comes to VTubing. There's so many free there's a term for it. There's actually a Twitter account dedicated to free backgrounds and even VTuber props and all of that. So do a little bit of searching. I forgot what is the term I'm looking for. Um
I've seen so many VTubers create like free stuff for other VTubers to use,
mhm.
and yeah, like I guess one thing I could say is I use a lot of assets that VTubers create, like just like the jokey assets of like a cup in the hands or something like that, or a like a bat that says "Go back to horny jail" or something like those kinds of things. You just put on your model and hold it, and they're amazing. They're awesome.
For sure, because personally, as a 3D VTuber, I don't know a lot about the 2D world, so I don't know if there's a way to make your own 2D model for free, like you can with 3D VTubers who use stuff like Vroid, for example. I'm a Vroid model, and I've never kind of looked into 2D because the money thing is what scared me mostly. So, especially when you're starting out for the first time when it comes to streaming, maybe go 3D and mess around on Vroid. And especially with their newest update, they have made making a model just super, super easy. So I know a lot of people, and even I agree as a 3D VTuber, that 2D VTubers actually look way better than 3D. But if you're creative enough, you could actually build something quite spectacular on your own, especially if you're all into Unity and Blender and all of that. And you can actually make a really nice, free 3D Vroid model of yourself. So yeah, the money thing is huge. And when it comes to the hot takes, I think I spoke about this on the last podcast. And the hot take thing hits close to home because I've actually had
Mhm.
somebody in my DMs who was like, you shouldn't talk to your viewers like that. And because I like to insult my viewers, and it's kind of like a back and forth thing. We insult each other, and this person was just like, "I'm gonna unfollow you and I'm gonna block you because I don't support how you treat your viewers. You treat them like shit." And it's kind of like, this really ties it into the hot take thing, and they make it seem like I'm murdering my viewers. It's a consensual bickering kind of like idea. So
We are consensually verbally abusing each other. Okay, it's all good in the name of fun. I
as
do it too, trust me. Like when I'm like, as of recently, mainly, I've been like getting jump scared, and I'm like, you assholes, like those kinds of things. Like I'll just throw out there, but they know I still love them, and it's all for fun. But it hurts because I die of a heart attack when they do it, so they deserve it a little bit.
For sure. It's all, everybody's got their own little thing. Like how I always describe streaming. Everybody's got their own room and there's like there's this door, and you don't know what's happening in that person's stream until you open that door and you kind of peek inside. And the person that DM'd me and they kind of hung out in my stream, they did that. They opened the door but they didn't set a foot in, and they just kind of saw, oh, you're insulting your viewers, bad VTuber. So everybody's kind of got their own thing going on in their stream. So especially when you're new, the hot take thing is very true. Don't piss off anybody, and be try to behave until
Yeah,
until you kind of got a community who will rally around you, pretty much.
yeah. Like it's different when you're new because some people would be like, I can't believe you're being like that. You're new, so I don't know much about you, so I'm automatically gonna assume this is who you are as a person.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely different with average viewers who are there for you like almost every stream, every other stream. They know that's just how you are, and it's all in good fun. But I can definitely understand for people who are just brand new coming into your stream or something like that, or they don't really know much about you, or some people are just really different. You can't really please everyone, and that's
Mm-hmm.
just something you're just gonna have to live with. And uh, of course, you don't want to offend people purposely. So if like they feel bad about it, just like be like, "I'm sorry, that's just how it is. It's not like the biggest deal, but I do apologize if I hurt you." And that's as simple as it is. You don't need to go any further than that. If they expect you to do more than that, then they can just move on with their lives.
For sure, for sure. So, oh man, I feel like we dived really deep into like other topics here. So we're gonna go back on
Yeah.
the main topic of tonight about debuting. And so for those who are in the process of debuting, this is not for the newbies, pretty much for those who are in the planning process of it. For those, obviously, we want our debuts to be glamorous. We want, a lot of viewers there and yada, yada, yada. And that pressure starts to build up. Do you have any tips for those VTubers who are just super hung up on creating the perfect debut?
Well, I can definitely say I was one of those VTubers. So I was or not like perfect, like I'm not debuting unless every little pixel on my screen during that stream is absolutely perfect and amazing now. But I definitely wanted to like hit a standard that would make me feel comfortable to stream and debut. So I'd say for people who are overly like overthinking it and just having like, if I don't have this, I can't. If I don't have that, I can't. If I don't have this very small, insignificant thing, I'm not going to do it. Just do it. It's like if you already have a planned date and you're thinking of pushing it back because of just like let's say like you didn't get an alert or an alert animation or something like that. I would say just don't worry much about the small stuff, and as long as you have the main course for everybody, uh, you're at least showing yourself and showing everybody what you're all about.
That's so true. And to add on to that, I think, especially if you're stressing so much on making the perfect debut, you really should prepare yourself for when things are not so perfect, especially in the stream. Because when you put yourself under so much pressure like that and it doesn't turn out perfect, or I don't know, you got a troll in your debut and you're just messing everything up, it is better to be mentally prepared for a situation like that so you don't crack on stream and you don't end up on live stream fails. So, you know, it's good to want the best for your debut, but don't put so much pressure on yourself. I never knew that about you. I didn't know you were actually like so like really anal about having it to be super perfect.
Like I do kind of have like if you've gone to my streams, you've seen like I have like a custom stinger animation. I have a starting screen. I have like I don't have like crazy overlays or anything like that, but I do have like for my just chatting streams, I have like an anime background
Mm-hmm.
room. I have a new desk. I have a lot of new stuff now that I have yet to show off for my just chatting streams. I so kind of spoiler to everybody who's gonna be going to my future just chatting streams. Have stuff made reveal it at some point. But yeah, I definitely have like a standard. If I don't see them if I don't hit that standard, then I'm gonna feel like self-conscious to the stream a bit. But up to this point, I've streamed so many times, even as a new YouTuber, that I've kind of just gotten numb to like caring. Like I know if I just have a good time, I have like things displayed enough for people to be like, "Yeah, this is good." Then I'm fine. It's not the hugest deal. But at first I was definitely anal about it.
I mean, honestly, if people are really there for you, you could have like just a simple black a background. That was really tough to say. A very simple black background, and it's just you chatting. And if people really love you, that's all you need. You don't even need anything
Yeah.
complicated, you know. So
Yeah, my gaming streams don't even have like overlay chat box or anything like that. It's literally just my chat is above my head, and then I
really,
have like under me, yeah, it's just my chat above my head, my character on like the bottom left corner, kind of big, And then I have like my two goals for my follower goal and sub goal, and then I have the jar for like when people do shit, coins thrown in there,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all I have. That's literally all I have.
Just it is, you don't want to clutter your screen pretty much, so just keep it simple for now, especially if you're somebody new. The next question I have here, what are some good and bad experiences you've had from preparing for a debut?
Well, I guess bad experiences would be just I guess this, I'm not calling people out here. I'm not calling anyone out here, actually. I'm mainly just calling out like when you're a new VTuber and you're getting stuff made for you and you're not making it yourself, you have to rely on people like artists to make your stuff and your modeler and all that. So, I guess one thing I did have, it was really the only real problem I had, but I know there's plenty of examples that I could bring up that I didn't personally experience, but I've heard people experience themselves, was definitely getting stuff made for you and it not turning out the way you want it to.
Mm.
Like let's say art or overlays or stuff like that. I myself have had art where I've kind of looked at it and I was like, that's not right. Like I had this one piece of art of my character. You know, I have had like the black and white squares on my inside jacket, kind of like matching a black and white race flag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had like this piece of art one time where the person didn't make those squares and they made them like diamonds on the art, and I was just like, no, that's not right. And then they gave me issues over it and all that, and I was just like, just do it, and then I'll get out of your hair. That's all. That's pretty much how I was for that one specific artist. I'm not gonna name who it was or anything like that. Uh, but I've definitely run into other situations where I've talked to other people where they've dealt with even worse than that, like this one guy I know, I'm not going to say his name or who they commissioned from because obviously that'd be telling, and it's none of anyone's business. But just as an example, he had like this huge like video done, and for the editing, they wanted this one person to make it, and that one person completely made it in a way they didn't want it to be made, and he lost like he couldn't even use that editing and stuff like that because the person who he had issues with was like very, very anal about not helping him. Like, you know how some people like when they make stuff for VTubers, they kind of display it on their page.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this person didn't want to do that, and the guy was like, "Is everything okay?" And they're like, "Yeah, I just don't want to do it for you." And he's just like, "All right." And then apparently they took it as like with him not being like, yeah, yeah, okay, okay, that's sure, fine, whatever. They took it as him kind of like asking for a shout out, even though it wasn't really the case. And some like cases like that can happen when you're preparing for your debuts. Like they don't know much about you or anything like you or about you like that. And you end up with stuff that you don't really want to use, even though you spent like a lot of money on it.
Yeah, I can see just Jesus, yeah.
Yeah, it's rough out here.
And sorry, what were some of the good experiences you had? I know the bad is always fun to hear, but there
Yeah, yeah.
must.
Good experiences easily are the people you meet, but I think that's just an obvious point to make. Obviously, the people you meet, the fans, the other VTubers, all the friends you make along the way. But other good stuff would be, I'd say, just you being satisfied with your work. If you are satisfied with how your stream went and all that, you are gonna feel like your mental health just took a plus one, and uh, definitely feeling comfortable and just doing a lot better in regards to like being on things like let's say like Twitter, being on Twitter and talking and all that, and you feel like, man, this is actually helping a lot more than stressing me out. That's definitely a plus to it. So I definitely say like being satisfied with your streams and making connections and talking with people is a huge benefactor to your mental health.
Mm-hmm. Even those streams, like you should always take pride in your work, like you said, and even those streams that maybe we're a little scummy. I know there have been times where, I think what was the last stream I did, guys? And then I didn't know that the goddamn video game awards were on. Oh, when I played Fall Guys on stream, and I was like, where is everybody? And I didn't know about the stupid video game awards. And there's gonna be days like those, but you know what? It's kind of like streaming to, even if there was just one person just watching you during your stream. Just my rule is always stream like you're streaming to 100 people, and don't let the numbers get to you. And we are going to have some of those streams that are just kind of like, oh, why did I even go live today? Because there's always that flip side to it as well, where there have been times where I was like, I don't feel like streaming today, and I come on, and then you got your great community, and Mr. Wholesome Paint here with making us good friends, and like you get to experience those really fun and magical moments you do as a VTuber. So always take pride in your work, and people they'll see that, and they'll see that you're actually enjoying what you do. So now it's been, I guess, like a month when I guess you can really look back on your debuting and everything. What are some lessons that you have learned from preparing for a debut?
I guess lessons I learned for preparing after I had already done it was obviously don't worry too much about how many people are going to be there. Uh, when I did my debut, I had a lot of people there. I had around like almost like 20 people on there, and that was awesome. And then after that, obviously your numbers aren't going to be the same. But I think I still actually kept my viewer base steady for a good time. Like I still had like a good like 7 to 5 viewers every stream after that. So definitely don't worry if after your debut you don't do amazing or crazy or all that, because you'll eventually, as long as you keep showing yourself and being yourself and doing what you can, you're gonna grow.
Hold on. Wait,
And
wait. Seven
yeah.
to five viewers even after your debut? I think those are fantastic numbers as a new VTuber.
Oh yeah, they definitely are. Well, I'm saying compared to like your first debut stream and
Mm-hmm.
then the streams after that, don't worry about how big the number difference is because that's definitely normal.
Mm-hmm, for sure. Yeah, but damn, you actually retained quite a bit of viewers from that. And see, kids, that is the magic of networking. All that hard
Yeah,
work. So
yeah, I would definitely say I worked hard to keep the people there.
I believe it. And he does. Paint really does. My Twitter is just Paint. Not even Paint making his own posts. I see you like even interacting with other people's posts as well. So that you see
Oh yeah,
Twitter spreads like wildfire.
yeah. And my bottom meme has spread into other people's streams now
Oh no.
unintentionally because like my one friend Madam Gata, I just went on her stream and I was just like, "How's it going?" And she's like, "How's it going, bottom?" And I'm like, "Oh no, oh no, don't do this." And now she has a bottom meme too on
Oh
her
my
streams where
gosh.
if you pay 50,000 points for a point redeemed, she admits she's a bottom.
Oh my god. The power of
Yeah,
friendship, kids.
exactly.
So you said you are new to streaming, and it was actually your first time streaming when you debuted. And this is more so for super, super new people who are going to be in the same boat as you, who are also going to be kind of streaming for the first time as well on their debut. So, how did you choose which programs to use, like OBS and Slobs, and what made you go from choosing YouTube versus streaming on Twitch and all of that? And I don't really know the programs for 2Ds. Like what you guys use. Like I think 2Ds can use VC Face. I don't know what other programs there are, but it's kind of like shopping through a bunch of programs. So what made you choose those specific programs that you use today?
Well, I'd definitely say the reason why I chose, I'm going to start with just the place where you do it. Twitch over uh, YouTube. Twitch is a lot easier to start out than YouTube is. YouTube is kind of like a desolate desert. if you don't know or are not big enough to
Mm-hmm.
be seen.
Mm-hmm.
On Twitch, at least you have some sort of like blink of light in the darkness. Like, like you're still there. And as long as you advertise yourself, you're gonna be seen. So for YouTube it's a lot different. With YouTube, I'd say for YouTube, if you're big on Twitch, you can definitely put it off on YouTube. If you're small on Twitch or just don't do Twitch and you just want to do YouTube, you're going to be starting out on YouTube with probably no viewers at all. Let's be honest here. Not a lot of people like to watch YouTube streams unless you're already like huge. For Twitch, people love watching smaller streams because it's a lot more friendly for people and a lot more streamer friendly in general than YouTube is, especially with like being able to make like do points and emotes and stuff like that. And even after like even though that's like affiliate kind of stuff, it's still a lot easier to watch on Twitch than it is for YouTube. So that was why I made Twitch my main thing so far. And I'd say for for small or for my bad, not small people, for just 2D streamers like the 2D models. I use Live 2D Studio or not Live VTube Studio. My apologies. And VTube Studio, I think, is just the main obvious thing that all 2D VTubers use because that's like the thing to use, like how 3D VTubers use VC Face for their main thing. And I'd say for streaming as a program, I actually started out using Slobs, which is Streamlabs OBS back before they were having controversial issues. That was back like a couple months ago when there was no problem. I use Streamlabs OBS mainly because it was for me at least it was definitely a preference. It was a little user friendly for me. But as I got bigger, I got more in depth with the program, and after hearing the controversy that went on with Streamlabs, I don't think I have to go over it. If anyone wants to hear it, just literally look up Streamlabs versus OBS Studio or something like that on
Mm-hmm.
Google. I moved on to OBS Studio literally the day of me hearing that controversy that was going on with that program on Streamlabs, and I now use OBS Studio. The start of it was a little rough for me because I knew nothing of Stream Elements, which is the stuff you use for like chat boxes, alerts, donations, stuff like that. I knew nothing of it. So starting out with OBS Studio was a little rough for me, but after practicing with Streamlabs OBS, which is just using OBS Studio's program and just used it itself, OBS Studio was definitely easier to get into after practicing with Streamlabs. So yeah, OBS Studio is what I use.
Yeah, and I know the whole controversy with slobs and and all of
Yeah.
that, but if you are new to streaming, I don't want to one up slobs, but they are very much user friendly when it comes to, especially when you don't know anything about streaming. They help you a lot. They can hold your hand a lot. And then if you are really against what Slobs has done, you can always move to OBS. So,
They're both free programs,
mm-hmm.
and definitely both are user friendly for you. They're not like you have to code your character in on OBS Studio or anything like that. No, you just kind of just plop it in there. You
Mm-hmm.
just have to know which things to use, and that's about it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of YouTube tutorials out there for anybody who is super, super new. So, YouTube is your best friend when it comes to this kind of stuff. So, we're going to go back on your November 10th debut here. And
Mhm.
it was a great debut. I popped in for a little bit as well, and it was very hype. So that's always good to see. What are some things from your debut that you wish you could have done differently, and what are some things that you wish you didn't do?
I kind of wish I had a little more of a plan after doing the throwing hands with VTubers bit of the stream. Because after that, the Forza Horizon 5 was a new game that came out at that time. So it wasn't really like a bad thing to play. but it was definitely not like a main, like if people would be interested in continuing watching, they probably wouldn't continue watching as much because I could definitely tell after we got through the tier list of me throwing hands with other VTubers, if the viewership went down a bit more. And I think that's just because the kind of game I was playing wasn't like mainstream or anything like that. Like if I had played something more like, I don't know, maybe like a League or something like that. I don't play League anymore. But if I played something like, that's obviously a huge game, that would have definitely helped.
For sure. Honest, I mean, this is a whole debate in itself when it comes to choosing which games to stream and all of that.
Yeah.
Do you stream any like main games on your channel? That's not Five Nights at Freddy's right now. Or do you
Yeah.
consider yourself more of a variety streamer, or kind of like people who are very focused on Valorant or Call of Duty and stuff like that?
Oh, I'm not going to touch any huge things like Valorant or Call of Duty or Fortnite or League of Legends or anything like that. I've kind of just like been doing whatever I really felt like. Like games like obviously that are kind of mainstream, but are not like, like the huge parts of the gaming world, like Phasmophobia or Among Us. Those are just kind of like group collab games I like to play.
Hmm.
Other games I do like to play. I played Bully Scholarship Edition for a stream, and that was that was an old game too. It was like a PS2 game. People enjoyed that. I played some Forza Horizon 5. I did Shin Megami Tensei, the new one when it came out. I kind of played some Pokemon, the new Pokemon that came out. I played that and just played that for a good week until I was like, all right, I think I'm done. After I beat the Elite Four and the champion, which was a very clutch stream, by the way. Like that was like a hype stream by the end of it when it came to the last stream for that game. And now I've kind of like transitioned. I'm not transitioning like completely, but it's been more fun to play some horror games on the stream because one, viewers are a lot more interactive because they're kind of just trying to jump scare me half the time. Viewers are commenting because I love to just like talk with them and like comfort while I'm being scared like crazy. Uh, and after that, the other stuff, which is like Five Nights at Freddy's, I just kind of chose those games because those just seemed interesting. They're old games I didn't know a lot about, and I still don't really, even after playing them. But they were horror games as well, and I was like, I'm sure some people like horror. Let's do it. Let's try it. And after the first Five Nights at Freddy's stream, I was like, all right, it's time to play more. And we just continued playing more until we are like, I guess we're done with this. Let's go move to the next thing. And I was like, what's a cool another thing that I could play, which is a horror game? SCP Containment Breach, which is also a thing I even know less about, which is the thing I'm going to be playing this week. And some people don't know that, but I kind of announced it like under like downplayed doing it on stream, and now I'm going to be doing it next week and playing the new Five Nights at Freddy's game that's apparently coming out, and I didn't even know until like a couple days ago.
Oh my gosh. Well, as a horror VTuber, welcome to the horror community. I'm glad to hear that you enjoy it.
Thank
we,
you, thank you.
we actually have VTuber Kai here in chat who said, Slobs killed my PC and crashed it after raid. So OBS, I love it because it doesn't crash my PC. I don't think I've ever had any crashing problems when it came to Streamlabs OBS.
I
Have you?
think I think that might have to do with what hardware you have. I have like heavy gaming computer hardware. Like I have a RTX 3070 and a like an i9 10K processor. Like I have some heavy stuff. So I think what hardware you're using might be the problem. Yeah, they have a laptop, so
Oh
that'll definitely answer
no.
the question there.
Like the Streamlabs crashing thing kind of sounds like a RAM issue, maybe. I don't know, but I don't know too
Yeah.
much about streaming from a laptop, though, to be honest.
Yeah, I use a desktop, but it might be because of your RAM because it can't run it all at the same time.
Hmm. So, guys, we are way over the hour. Actually, we are about 20 minutes over the hour. So, we are
Oh,
actually about to wrap up with two more questions, but I actually have a secret third question that I'm going to be asking my final guest here on season one of the podcast. So, please be sure to, for anybody in chat, to get your questions ready. And also for those who are listening on Spotify, if you guys would ever like to join us live when these podcasts come live on my Twitch, twitch.tv/Hime Horror. If you guys ever want to join and, kind of chat goes off during podcasts. So I know I don't talk about chat that much for you guys on Spotify, but, everybody just kind of joins up here, and it seems like Paint's taking some L's from his fans, but that's the fun of it.
it's all fun.
So yeah, get your questions ready, guys, for either Paint or myself. It doesn't have to be about the topic at hand. It doesn't have to be about a VTuber debuting. It can be about streaming, VTubing, or life in general. So the next question I have here: what are your three major big tips for VTubers preparing or already are in the stages of debuting?
Three major tips. First one, be careful with your money. Uh, that's definitely a huge thing. If you're building up money, build up money and just keep that separate pile of money from your main stuff, and just use that little pile of money you kept for your streaming and stuff like that. Next thing, second thing, make connections, network, make new friends, all that kind of stuff. Don't be fake or anything like that. Just be yourself. Be kind and thoughtful and open minded about other people. And I'd say the third thing is prepare. Make sure to prepare your stream, prepare your stuff. Make sure you buy what you actually need and not just like, oh, I think this would look cool, and then you get it and you're like, I don't know about that now. And just make sure you know what you want for a fact.
Doesn't even matter if you're planning for a year, you'll be way more prepared than people who jump on the ship like me. So I've gone through like three different avatars because I just didn't decide. And planning is a huge part of it, especially when you're debuting. In the money thing, I know we have pushed so much on the money thing, but it is so important, especially as VTubers, because there's so much money that can go into your avatar, but not just your avatar, your rig as well. You don't want to build a PC and then you realize, oh, I don't have enough money for a chip, and you're just kind of you just have your computer case just sitting there and you're not able to use it.
Yeah.
So,
And
V.
make sure you have hardware that you can actually, that's good for streaming too.
Mm-hmm. And to go off on that a little bit, it's probably better if you build it yourself. There is so many YouTube tutorials how to build your own PC because those pre-builds, they try to rip you off at any chance they get. So being a little bit
Yeah.
knowledgeable, especially about stuff like upload speed and you know all of that other stuff, really prepare yourself. Like Paint said, being prepared is so important. So, the final question I have here is a question I ask all of my guests. What is your number one tip for new or aspiring VTubers?
My number one tip, I'd say for new and aspiring VTubers, uh, don't be afraid to face against not being like it. Like, let's say you don't have like the most successful streams. Just be prepared to keep pushing yourself and don't let that stream push you down. Even if you don't have like a super good stream, like let's say you have like one stream that had like 10 average viewers on one stream. Then after that, you have like 3 to 1, 2 average viewers after that stream. Don't let that push you down. Get back up and keep going.
Do you have any tips for those people that, let's say, they've been streaming for 3 months and they've only have like two average viewers? What would you say to them?
Well, I'd say maybe try to open up and networking a little more, and maybe even trying to change things up a little bit because either you're not being seen enough or you're not trying to like be, you know, out, or you're not trying to like make yourself look unique enough or good enough in general to want to be clicked on and watched.
For sure. And I'll put it in harsher words because Paint is a very nice guy. It might be something with you. So really sit down and reflect, and maybe your streams just fucking suck, dude. So really maybe jot down. I know that Twitch shows you at certain times when you have the most viewers, and I notice when I click on those numbers, the time I have the most viewers in my stream is when I'm talking about personal stuff. Which screw you guys. You guys are always trying to get that out of me, and it's something I struggle with. And you have to learn to be vulnerable on stream, and I know it can be scary. Talking from
Yeah.
myself, who like and people love that because people are there for you. They're not there for the game mostly, except for those really dedicated viewers. But 90% of the time, they are there for you. So really,
Yeah.
yeah, like really look into like why your stream might suck. So you
Yeah, like
change
one
something up.
huge thing I see is like for some people who are small, like even smaller than me, who started out around the same time as me,
Hmm.
they don't talk enough. Like
Oh my
there's some
god.
streamers who kind of just like have the game in front and there are characters in the corner and they're just kind of playing a bit and they're only talking like every other 20 seconds or so. And I'm like, man, it's some cool gameplay and not cool streamer. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be mean or anything. I'm just being completely real with them. Like, talk more. Force yourself to talk more. It's a huge thing. Even if you're not barely talking to anybody, practicing yourself to talk for a long period of time is a huge benefactor, and it improves your streaming.
For sure. And like practice it. Like that is one of my probably biggest pet peeves, not even with VTubers, with streamers in general, because usually the average viewer, when they come and click on your stream, they give you about 10 to 15 seconds for them to actually be convinced to continue watching you. And if you're just kind of sitting there and not saying anything, even to yourself, or not even looking at chat, then it's a little discouraging and it's kind of boring. So I'd rather be in a stream where I feel like they would reply back to me kind of thing. So yeah, and for those who just have really low viewers, like 1 to 3 viewers at most, and I think to become an affiliate, you need at least 3 average viewers, I believe. And have
Yeah.
you hit affiliate actually, Payne?
I did a thing for my Twitch. I said if I hit affiliate by my seventh stream, because affiliate goals are 50 followers, average of 3 viewers, and 7 total streams. I hit affiliate on my seventh stream, like right on there. And so I got
Hey.
it like right away, basically, is what I'm saying. But that was like with a lot of hard work. And I know a lot of people like they're like, I'm sitting on like 2.9 average viewers, help me. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'll try to like lurk as much as I can. I do that too. And yeah, I got very lucky, but my main thing, the whole reason why I hit that was because I had a goal. I told people it was like around the time where I made the meme that I'm not a bottom because I'm not a bottom. Stop calling me a bottom, you people. Uh, because literally the whole reason why the bottom meme is even a thing is because I literally just randomly put out a tweet saying, I swear I'm not a bottom. And then that blew up, and I was like, oh shit, this is me now. This is me. This is my
it's
quote
your it's,
unquote
it's
brand
your brand.
now. And it's become a huge thing. And I was like, and now everyone was like coming onto my streams like you're a bottom pay and all that stuff. And I was like, all right, you know what? I'm not embracing the meme, but I'll sure as hell abuse it. And I was like, all right, by my seventh stream, since to hit affiliate, you have to stream 7 times on different days. I was like, if I'm by my seventh stream, I hit affiliate, I will get a maid dress on my model. And I got it. And then I just showing it now, have my maid
Oh
dress.
my goodness.
And it's the
I
and
love
that
it.
has created even more memes that are pretty crazy.
Not gonna lie, I looked at your legs a lot when you posted that on Twitter.
Yeah, a lot of people love it. It's a huge thing, and yeah, now that's a thing on my channel. So now I got it gives me more of an excuse to put point redeems because now I have point redeems of show should put on the maid outfit for 30 minutes or something like that, or and now we got like art of my character in a maid dress and doing the Jacko pose
Hmm.
animated, and it's now my follower alert. It's
Oh my
crazy.
gosh.
Yeah,
See, just getting creative with stuff like that and really getting people interactive with your streams will go a long way. And going back on just, kind of like that road to affiliate, if you just have those one or three viewers in your chat, be sure you really appreciate those 1 to 3 viewers because it's nice knowing at least somebody's watching you. So really, chat it up and you got to think of like, you could just talk about your day and somebody from that small little group of viewers might feel compelled to answer. If you say, I don't know, what is a typical thing? Pineapple on pizza. And then you get like one of those people going like, well, I actually like pineapple on pizza. So learn to appreciate those small numbers while you can
yeah,
because talking from experience, especially when you start getting more viewers, even to this day, I can't handle more than like 4 people talking at once because I'm a goldfish and it becomes really hard. So it's very good practice, is what I'm trying to say. Anyways, we
yeah.
are coming to the end of the stream. So if you guys have any questions for either Paint or myself, feel free to ask them in chat. You can even tag me in it for better visibility because, like I said, I get very overwhelmed with chat. I'm a trash streamer. So while we're waiting for those questions, a question I wanted to know is what are your streaming goals, Paint, for 2022?
I'm just hoping to keep on streaming. Hopefully, things will just keep on going as they have been. Continue, hopefully, making even more memes than we have now, because that's made like my main huge goal on Twitch and just my channel in general. And my whole thing is just memes. I just love shit posting, and I love when people come up with shit, and I'm like, no, no, and they're like, yes, yes, and then it becomes a meme, and I'm like, all right, I guess this is just how things are now.
Was the meme thing planned or it just kind of came naturally?
It just happened. Like I like I the whole like I'm a bottom meme is like it just I just thought like if I made that post it'd be like some people would be like haha yeah yeah whatever and stuff, and they're like no, you are a bottom, you're done for. And I'm done for now.
How many streams have you done in total now?
Ah man, I can't even like remember. I think the total amount that I have done so far has been about like almost like 20 maybe, like maybe 20, maybe a bit more than that. Uh like my first stream was a collab, or not my first stream, my stream after that was a collab with a friend of mine. Then after that, I kind of just like focused on single streaming, like just me, because I kind of like it a little more when it's just me streaming instead of focusing on collabs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that I've just kind of just streamed whatever I wanted to for a while, and I think maybe around like 20 to 30 has been the amount I've done so far.
Wow. You really worked at it. You weren't joking.
Yeah, I'm on the grind, as some would say.
So, from those 20 to 30 streams, what has been your most memorable streaming moment?
Oh man, I don't think I've had like actually no, I would definitely say my most memorable streaming moment was when I finished Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond wasn't like the most successful streaming time I've had. I think it was one of my lesser successful ones actually. But that's mainly because Pokemon Brilliant Diamond was such a long game, and I just
Mm-hmm.
had to push those out a lot. So when I was like on my final stream, me and chat like were constantly talking and going crazy over like because when you're like on the last person, I had like half of my characters not alive
Oh my God.
and no healing, and I was like, what am I gonna do here? and I only had like the few people, which is this like I don't know if you play Pokemon or not.
Mm,
Um,
I have a funny story about me playing Pokemon.
well, I guess just to say my part is I had like a character who was Snorlax, who is my best boy. My favorite Pokemon ever is Snorlax, and I call him Chowder. It's Chowder the Snorlax, who's based on like Chowder from the Cartoon Network show. And through that whole fight, Chowder, which was my best boy, was constantly surviving because for some reason in the new games they have a new thing called or a new thing with friendship where the Pokemon would just choose not to die. And my Pokemon Chowder, who had like the highest friendship in the party, I'm assuming, just kept tanking these hits and refusing to die. And he just constantly just like he was on the grind the whole battle on the final battle against Cynthia. Didn't have any healing potions, so I couldn't even heal him. So he just kept taking these hits like I'm not gonna die here. I refuse to. And chat was going crazy. I was going crazy. And yeah, it was insane because we ended up actually winning that fight when it was very like if it was a normal like Pokemon Diamond game like from Gen 4 on the DS, definitely would have lost. So, yeah, it was insane with the new mechanic that I was actually able to win there.
What an actual trooper.
Yeah.
And a moment like that is so great, and that's a great, memorable streaming moment. When chat really starts to feel the same emotions as you do, and it starts to become this really like hyped up moment that you guys can all share. So that's a great streaming moment for sure, especially when your community is involved. We actually have a chat question here from Lana. The question is, this has been a personal conundrum for me when it comes to tweeting and using VTuber tags, like when to use them and when not to. So pretty much they're asking, I guess, which hashtags to use in certain situations and maybe better hashtags to use for VTubers specifically. If you want to clarify
I'd
more,
s-
Lana.
I'd say like I can kind of understand like when should you use the hashtags basically like are you should you use them when you're just talking in general or just kind of shit posting or whatever. Like I'd say like
Hmm.
you should definitely use hashtags when you're streaming, like announcing you're going to stream. Maybe someone will see the hashtag VTuber tag, which I think the best one is the VTuber tag, because
Mm.
there's this channel or this Twitter account called like VTuber retweet or something like that, where they just auto like it's a bot that just retweets it, and everyone's like followed to it or something like that. Or a bunch of people are. So some people like may actually run into that post you made and it'll show your posts. I'd say like if you're kind of just fucking around and like doing a shit post, like earlier today, I made a post where I was like, I'm pondering my orb. Just comment below or just like the post and I'll give you some wisdom or something like that with my character and like photoshopped onto the pondering orb meme. I don't know if you know that meme or not, but it's a new meme where like it's just a guy sitting in front of a blue orb like a wizard, and he's just like watching it.
No, I did not know about it yet, but I looked at the art and I was like, is that Paint's face?
Yeah, I was like, I gotta like do something with this meme, and that was just what I decided to do. And I did like throw some hashtags on there because I was just like, maybe some people, new people, like they'll see my shit posting personality and might like it. And I mean, yeah, it was a good tweet, and I still got a couple of responses to make out of it because earlier before we started, I had like 18 likes, and now I have like 33. So I think I
Oh
need to get
my
back onto
god.
that after this.
Yeah, hashtags are so important. And I'm glad that Twitter is not like Instagram's hashtag system where the magic number on Instagram with their hashtags is 11 hashtags. And I don't know why. Nobody knows why. For some reason, you're not thrown into the public eye of Instagram unless you're using 11 specifically. I don't know if it's some kind of weird bug or so. I don't know. Twitter is a lot more lenient when it comes to hashtags. And I didn't know that actually, that when you're using the hashtag VTuber, that VTuber retweet account. I was like, who is this account that keeps retweeting? And then I looked at it and it's some kind of retweet VTuber thing. I didn't know it was triggered by that hashtag.
Yeah, it was definitely actually I don't think it's a bot that does it. I think it might just be a person who
Oh.
sees those or those hashtags, just looks up the hashtag and retweets it, because it doesn't seem like a bot from like when I look at that account, and I'm followed to that account because obviously they support me, I'll support them back.
Hmm.
But I know for a fact that that account is definitely run by someone who cares about VTubers and helping them grow, and that's pretty much what they're all about. And I was like, hell yeah, you go ahead and take my follow. I'll support you too.
That's true. Another good hashtag for VTubers is EN VTuber for English VTubers. That really separates you from kind of like the overseas VTubers. I know Malaysia has their own, Singapore has their own for VTubers and all of that. Even Philippines has their own hashtag for that. So EN VTuber will really put you in that kind of pool of people who are looking for English speaking only VTubers as well. Another hashtag that has actually worked for me, and this is more of like a niche hashtag, is a horror VTuber, and I've met I think like 4 or 5 other horror VTubers from that hashtag. So kind of slimming it down to a niche or whatever you want your brand to be is a good hashtag to have as well.
Yeah, I honestly I didn't for a good while I didn't know what EN VTuber was, because I was like, what does that even mean? Is that English VTuber? Is that like some sort of other thing I don't know about? Hashtags are weird, I guess, is what I'm saying, and they can mean
Hmm.
a lot of things if you're not careful. So I didn't use that for a while, and I kind of still don't really use it, only until like I actually feel like using it. Because don't really want to separate myself from the people, and like I don't know, it's like outer country kind of like people who might be interested in me.
Yeah,
So I kind of just use like hashtag VTuber hashtag. I think VTuber Uprising isn't another one I use, but I think that's just like about VTubers like rising in popularity, something like that. I don't think it's anything crazy. Um, there's a lot of good hashtags to use, and those are definitely good ones.
for sure. And don't just slap hashtags just for your own gain, I guess. Also, look into that hashtag as well, and you might find other VTuber friends that you like as well. Actually, I don't even know how you and I met, Paint. I think we probably met on Twitter, like I do with every other VTuber
We
now.
I I definitely remember we met when I was small. I was really new when I ran into your account, and I was like, oh shit, a horror VTuber who's like kind of like a yandere kind of looking brand thing. And I
No!
was like, this is cool. And I followed you, and I was like, yo, what's up? And we didn't interact a lot for a bit of time, but we ended up like interacting and just, kind of shit posting each other's posts for some time at least.
For sure, yeah. Hashtags will really get you out there, and even like even when you like and retweet, because I know Twitter has this thing. It doesn't have. I don't know what the percentage rate of it is, but when when you like it shows you what you like and who you like what you retweet, and you know what I'm trying to say? No, it's pretty much the like, and then they show. I don't know what I'm trying to say here,
Yeah,
but
they like on the TL they might show like something you liked or retweet or something like that.
and then it'll show up on like someone else's timeline,
Mhm.
and yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to say Twitter for me is kind of I'm more fluent with Instagram more than more than Twitter. I don't
Right.
know
I
Twitter too
don't
well.
I don't use Instagram a lot, or really at all, really. I only used it like back when I was in high school. Not anymore though, because I kind of see Instagram as kind of just like things from like models or something like that, not like for connecting with people or anything like that.
Hmm.
But Twitter seems like it's more like interactive, friendly between like people rather than like just making a post and that's about it.
Yeah, the retweet thing is really nice because you can't really do that on Instagram. And then I think the only way you can retweet technically on Instagram is by putting it on your story. And who's really gonna see that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and then for me, like on Twitter, like I don't personally post or like or retweet crazy NSFW kind of stuff. Like I'll make like joke tweets. Like my fucking follower alert is literally my character twerking. Like that's,
Oh my god.
but that's not like crazy NSFW. Like you know what I mean? Like it just thrown on there, and I'm like, I can't like this post because I know I don't want people like running into it when I like it. But damn it, like I know.
It's so true. Is there a reason why you kind of kept NSFW out of your tweets?
Well, the main reason is because I know a lot of people are put off by it, and
Mm.
I noticed like I'm not say so at all. Like say so from what I learned recently, I honestly didn't know what say so was until like a week ago. Uh, when I learned what say so was, it was kind of like about like VTubers who don't like do NSFW stuff. I'm not say so. I'm kind of like a mix between the NSFW and say so because like I just kind of shit post if it turns out to be semi NSFW. That's just how it is.
Hmm.
So like my character doing the Jack Go pose, or I don't know if you saw the art of my character in the Virgin Killer sweater. But
Oh
that's
yeah,
like
no, yeah, yeah,
another
yeah. I remember.
yeah, that it wasn't like it's obviously not showing like everything, but it's obviously enough to like make people go like, oh shit. So it's definitely it definitely catches people's like interest, but it's not like an 18 plus account is what I'm saying.
Hmm.
So I don't want to just straight up share this tweet of someone getting railed just because I liked it. And that's pretty much it. I just don't want to force people to see that stuff if they run into it in TL.
It's very true. Anyways, Payne, I don't want to take up any more of your time. We are actually about to hit the 2 hour limit, surprisingly. So this podcast has gone on for very, very long. So for all of those who want to follow Paint, where can they find you?
You can find me on Painted Live Twitch. That is my Twitch channel. If you want to see my Twitter, it is just Painted Live, and
I
those are where you'll find me.
I also have your YouTube up here. Do you want me to link that as well?
My YouTube is kind of just used for like posting clips and stuff like that. It's just painted. I don't know if it's really easy to find or anything like that, but it's on my Twitter. Uh, it's on my Twitter bio, so you'll be able to find it on there if you go to my Twitter.
I posted the links in chat for you guys, so be sure to leave Paint a follow on all his socials. And Paint, it has been really great having you here. I was really excited to do this podcast because I know debuting is such a big part of VTubing. And it's really
Right.
great to have somebody who, has experienced it. And I'm glad that it's really, all that hard work is really paying off now, which is great.
Yeah, I appreciate it very much for everyone who's not only supports me but supports each other in all this because from what I know, I still don't like know the in-depth roots of like VTubing and the VTubing community. But from what I've seen, it's very hard to grow if you don't have all the materials on your hand or on hand, and if you don't have like everything up to you. So I understand. Just say support each other. Don't be the person who like thinks themselves if I support them, maybe I'll get less support myself. No, just be there for each other, care about each other, and you'll all. I want all my homies to succeed. Is basically what I'm saying.
Famous last words. Anyways, Paint, thank you for being on this podcast again. And I will see you guys maybe next week. There is no set date for the next and final guest, who is going to be actually the first female guest we will be having on this podcast. And actually, you know what? That reminds me, I am also proud of you because you are making it as a male VTuber. And I know how much harder
Uh,
it is for male VTubers to make it, and you are doing so well in that department.
yeah, that's been brought up to me a number of times where people are like, "Yo, Paint, you do realize you don't have any titties to show, right, on stream?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I know, I know. It's, I get it. I trust me, I get it. But thank you. I definitely appreciate it."
Anyways, guys, thank you for being here, and thank you for those listening on Spotify. I know these last two podcasts are now an hour, 2 hours. way over. But thank you guys for the support on Twitch and Spotify as well. Bye. Bye, everyone. See you next week.
Everyone have a good time.